I may be deaf and blind, but at least I'm not a peanut, or a black blob. These are famous words by Helen Keller, who has nothing to do with this video, except for the fact that I needed a hook, and this is the best I could come up with. My name is Corbro, and I care more about making videos than my education, and today I want to talk to you about what I think is one of the best animes airing this season, so let's just get right into it. Ousama Ranking takes place in the medieval world of castles and kings, where every king is ranked on the ranking of kings based on their strength and the well-being of the kingdom they rule over, hence the title of the show. The show follows our protagonist, Bochi, who's the firstborn son of one of the strongest kings to rank in the world, in his journey to become the #1 king. Pause. After hearing just that, the average anime watcher may dismiss this show as just another fantasy power trip story that takes place in the exact same ass world, with the same ass characters, with the exact same ass cliches. Wrong. That's for two reasons. 1. This is not an isekai, and 2. This isn't like any medieval fantasy anime you've ever seen. Because Bochi faces a few little problems. Firstly, Bochi was born with disabilities that make him deaf and mute, and on top of that, his body is small and weak, and no matter how hard he trains, he just doesn't seem to be capable of becoming any stronger due to his physical limitations. See what kind of story we're in for now? No, you still don't. Because whatever presumptions or predictions you might have made after only seeing what's on the surface of this cartoonish, colorful world will quickly be dismissed, and you'll find yourself enthralled in something far deeper, far more intriguing, and far more compelling. On the surface, everything about this anime screamed cliché. The world looks like your typical medieval setting with castles and knights. Bochi's stepmother and Draco Malfoy are assholes to him, as you would expect a stepmother and smug stepbrother to act. You have your typical good knight that does good shit, and the bad knight who literally controls snakes and acts all sus. This dude literally looks like Jafar from Aladdin, you can't get any more obvious than that. But if you keep watching, you'll realize that there's far more to everything than what meets the eye. But before we continue, let me just talk about the world building. The world building in this show sort of reminded me of something you'd find in a roguelike game. The world of Ousama Ranking has some deep ass lore, politics, and a bunch of other cool shit, but the show never pushes it in your face. Instead, it just happens naturally. For example, in one episode we see a minor character talking about the ranking of kings, and how the #1 king who was given access to the treasury of the gods got his hands on some ancient artifact and went insane. And a few episodes later, Bochi is on a journey to deliver a letter when he randomly falls into a trap and meets a homeless dude who's like, reject. Then he shows Bochi this giant spirit god thing that literally sucks in the souls of dead animals like a vacuum cleaner and returns them into the wild, continuing the cycle of life. And then he proceeds to breakdance. Little bits of lore and world building like this are casually dropped everywhere in random scenes and conversations, and you're just like, wait, what? Hold up, is that Will Smith? They're like little seeds planted and left to be revisited and expanded upon later, and leaves me to pay attention to every little detail mentioned by seemingly minor or unimportant conversations. Don't quote me on this, but I believe that is called good writing. I compared the world of Ousama Ranking to a video game earlier, and I want to expand on that, because some of the characters in this anime feel like they're straight out of Dark Souls. Like this dude who's called King Spear Apis, who stands on a spear like this to watch a fight happening. Or this giant 3-headed serpent that Bochi just casually talks to, refuses to elaborate, then leaves. But let's take a step back. First, we have Bochi. He's weak, deaf, mute, and he's not exactly the smartest tool in the shed, nor the baddest ass in the castle. That sounded a lot better in my head. Which is exactly why his story is so endearing. No matter how many times he gets tricked, rejected, or beaten down, he stands right back up. It's a pretty common trope in anime, but I find myself rooting especially for Bochi because honestly, he just got dealt a shitty hand. But as much as I like Bochi, let's not focus on the main character too much, because he's only one out of many great characters this anime has to offer. Like Kage, this black creature. Well, as it turns out, he comes from a family of ruthless assassins that killed for the king until they supposedly betrayed him, leading them to being persecuted and completely wiped out. Sound familiar? But Kage doesn't have the edge we've come to expect from the average anime character with a sad backstory, which is what makes him so likable. No, I will avenge my clan. He's just trying to survive. And as you watch, the rest of the characters I mentioned earlier who appeared one-dimensional at first are slowly revealed to have far deeper reasons and motivations for acting the way they do. Like the stepmother, who you thought was an asshole, is revealed to actually care deeply for her stepson and discourages him from being a king because she knows he isn't ready for the role yet, and her instinctual motherly love leads her to not wanting to see him get hurt. Or this model knight, who's so obsessed with his role to serve his king that he will be willing to follow any order given to him, no matter how much they go against his morals or values. And the seemingly bad guy, who everyone would expect to be your standard scheming,
It was I. My machinations lay undetected for years.
that ends up trying to start a coup, but it turns out that this character may know more than we do, and might actually be trying to help Ochi behind the shadows. I don't know what it is with the Harry Potter references today, but he reminded me of Snape for some reason. And finally, the stepbrother. Yeah, he's still an asshole. Maybe he'll change, I don't know, I'm an anime only. For me, this show don't tell world building, and the cast of morally ambiguous characters have been the highlight of this show, and has been what's pushed this anime past this competition to become something special for me. Genuine curiosity and the want to explore and find out more about a fictional world is something anime rarely achieve, and Ousama Ranking nails it right on the head. Don't click off the video yet, I'll wrap it up soon. I would have ended the video right there, but I felt like the art style of this anime is too unique and I can't just not mention it. Yes, it looks like a cartoon. Yes, I also thought it looked like a kids show. But this is Studio Wit we're talking about, and you know what that means. Even if the art style's not for you, I highly recommend you still check out Ousama Ranking. The story alone makes the show worth watching, but the anime will not leave you hanging on the animation department either. Let's wrap this up. If you're into the fantasy or medieval genre even a little, or you're looking for something a little different than the typical anime that airs every season, you should watch Ousama Ranking. Honestly, fall 2021 is turning out to be another great season of anime, with flashy trending anime like these airing. Stuff like Ousama Ranking can fly under the radar, but everyone that is watching it pretty much unanimously agree on that it's good. And with the show scheduled to run for 23 episodes, I think it has potential to become a certified hood classic. That's it, that's the video. Let me know what shows you're watching this season in the comments below. You can click off now, or stick around for a few more seconds. If you made it this far, I just want to give you a big wet thank you. If you enjoyed this type of content, I'd really appreciate it if you could give it a like and subscribe. Also comment, I read all of them, and it'll help the algorithm pick my videos up. Gonna sign off for real now, see you on the next one.